this, and I put a mic on because it was kind of loud in here. So my name is Travis Pflanz. My business is WebWorks of Kansas City. We specialize in search engine optimization and digital marketing, website development. And today we're going to talk about your Facebook page. I forgot to keep myself in notes. I passed around some notes here for you. We're going to talk about Facebook business page essentials for beginners. So this may hit right home for a lot of people. It may be a little too beginner for some people, but that's okay. Hopefully you learn at least one thing. That's all I hope whenever I go to a presentation, to learn at least one thing. So by a show of hands, who has a Facebook page for their business that they manage? Good, a good group, good percentage. How many of you have a business page that somebody else manages? Yeah, I got both. All right, excellent. So everybody knows, obviously by this group, everybody knows that having a Facebook business page is important because you all have it, so that's great. So we don't have to go over why it's important, which is good. So let's talk a little bit about the important parts of your Facebook page and what those might be. So the important parts of your Facebook page, I'm going to mainly focus on how your Facebook page can help you with your overall business and your website. So being that I am a search engine optimization professional, do we have any questions on what search engine optimization is? I'll go over it just a little bit. We got a shoulder shrug over here. So search engine optimization is the combination art and science of being found in the search results for your products and your services. I say combination art and science because the search algorithms for Google, and I'm going to focus mainly on Google, has hundreds of different components to it. So there's no way of knowing exactly what it is. They don't give you the secret sauce, right? So there's a lot of testing that goes along with search engine optimization. And in my business, I focus mainly on content-driven search engine optimization on your website. However, especially if you are a local business, Facebook, as well as Google My Business, as well as Yelp, all of those directories are very important to your business and to be found locally. So, starting off with the important parts of your Facebook page, use your real business name. I've seen some clients and potential clients that their business name is XYZ, but they have used XYZBQ or whatever you want to call it for their business, for their Facebook name. They try to be cute. Don't try to be cute. Your business name needs to match what your actual website and your business name is. Don't try to get too cute on it. The reason, we'll get to the reason a little bit later. Also, use your real business address. P.O. boxes are not great for search engine optimization if you have local clients. Even if you work out of your home, I am a big believer. Put your home address on your website because guess what? If somebody wants to find your home address, they can find it anyway. They don't need your website to do it. Actually, we have a convert here in the room as well. Somebody who did not want to put their business address on their website because it was their home, but has seen the light. The big reason there is because search engines know what a P.O. box is. They know what mailboxes, etc. are. They know that you do not have an office in that P.O. box. They know that you don't have an office at mailbox, etc. So the search engines understand that, and they are not going to give you as much credibility as somebody else who has a real physical location for their business and they're telling their customers what their physical location is. Oh, sorry, that was coming from over there. I thought that was somebody else. Use your real business phone number, not a tracking phone number. Again, consistency. We're going to get to all the details behind that. Tracking phone numbers are great for advertising and running pay-per-click ads, but for any property that you have out there that is permanent, such as Facebook, Google My Business, Yelp, your website, you need to have your real phone number that you use, and it needs to be the same across the board. And we'll talk a little bit about that again. We'll get to that. your website's URL or location URL if you have multiple businesses. So make sure that is consistent as well. I know a lot of people have multiple websites for their business. Pick one and put that on all of your profiles. Again, consistency, consistency, consistency. And now when we're getting to the about section or the about page on your website, a lot of people just go through that very quickly. Fill out a detailed description of your business, what you do, who you serve. On Facebook, there are two options. There's a short option, then there's a long option. Fill them both out, make them complete, because that is really the area on your website that gives you the visibility in your search, in the search results. And the search results if people use Facebook as search too. So don't forget, people do use Facebook to search for businesses. It's not nearly as widely used to search for businesses as Google, but make it descriptive. Talk about who your clients are. Talk about your products, your services, and be very detailed in these as well. You don't sell it. That's a big thing that I always mention to potential clients. You never sell it. When you're describing your product or your service, you should not use it anywhere on your website or in your properties, because nobody sells it. So the next section here, your page's profile photo and your cover photo. These are just a bit of descriptions, how they display, the sizes you should use, because that is something that is very confusing whenever you're setting your pages up. You never know exactly how big is this photo at the top, how does it look on mobile. So here's just a little guide for you whenever you're adding your profile photo and your cover photo. And then there's also a little note there at the bottom that if you have text or your logo actually on top of a photo, if you're just using a photo, it's great. You can save it with the profile that's listed there as the sRGB JPEG. But if you have any text or a logo on top of an actual photograph, it's best to save it as a PNG. The reason here is Facebook is fantastic, and their system to compress images is fantastic. You can take a big, huge 25 megapixel image and they compress it down super small. The problem is that when you compress a logo or anything with fine details, you start losing those fine details. They don't compress a PNG nearly as much, so save it as a PNG if you have anything that involves text that you're uploading to Facebook.
It looks poor quality.
Yeah, it looks poor quality if the JPEG is smushed down. You start losing the fine edges, they start becoming jagged and all that kind of stuff.
So PNG is better quality?
PNG is better quality because, I'm not going to say none of the platforms, but most of the platforms won't compress a PNG down as far as they can a JPEG. It's just the systems aren't as good to do it there. So that's a little way for you to fudge the system. If you keep looking at it and you're like, this is just not clear, save it as a PNG and it'll definitely be more clear.
At work, we actually go to tinypng.com and you can convert JPEGs to PNGs right there, and that's what we do with all of our.
Yes, Tiny PNG is a good resource to convert JPEGs. Tiny PNG is a good resource to convert JPEGs to PNG files. You don't have to download them; they do it straight there on their web app. All right, so we've talked a little bit about the search engine optimization benefits. Now we're getting to the consistency, the NAP, N-A-P, which is the name, address, phone number. You also sometimes hear it called NAPW. That also includes the website. So name, address, phone number, website, those are the types of things that need to be consistent across all of your listings, including Facebook. But we're talking about Facebook today. So Facebook and Google My Business are two very important profiles for you to have 100% complete for your business. And they're important that you get them right from the beginning. You know, all those other directories that are out there, such as like Yellow Book and some of those other small industry ones and some that even aren't industry, they actually will pull the information and create those profiles or update your profiles based on the big profiles that you create. And Facebook and Google My Business are two of the biggest ones and most important. So make sure you have those completed and make sure that you have it consistent and make sure you do that from the beginning. Because if you wait too long, there's a good chance that one of those other small directories may start filling your profile with incorrect information. So make sure you outline everything that you want beforehand, and then you start building your profile page. If you've already built your profile page and you need to make some...
Google My Business different than Google Plus or just Google?
Google My Business is the current iteration of Google's business listing. So Google Plus and Google My Business have split off. It used to be Google Local at one point. Google My Business is your business profile that will show your reviews and where you can get your reviews. And it shows up in maps with the address and the phone number and the link and the photos, all of that stuff. So it's called Google My Business now, but Google changes it all the time. So it may be something different next week because they're always changing their stuff, and sometimes we have no idea why they change it. But Google My Business is essentially what you're talking about. It used to be Google Plus, and then there was a Google Plus Personal and a Google Plus Business.
Show up on that map.
Yes,
There, right.
correct. That's one of the easiest ways to double check it is to go to Maps and make sure. One of the easiest ways to check it is to go to Maps and then make sure your business is showing up there on the map. So maps.google.com, for example.
If you're not, you go to Google My Business.
Yeah, if you, I think it's google.com/business. I'm not 100% sure on that, but if you just Google My Business, you'll find it. So I already mentioned your very descriptive about section because that is what really has the power as far as search engines are concerned. And so now let's talk a little bit more about how Google actually sees your Facebook page. Google has stated many times, and there are going to be some people who will tell you that social media is super important for your rankings in search engines. That is not true. Google has stated many times that they do not use those social cues from social media. And here's the proof behind that, since somebody here has given me a little I don't believe you look. They have stated multiple times, and it comes up every few months, and the big wigs at Google say, no, it doesn't matter how many people like your page, it doesn't matter. The big power comes with that consistency and showing up in the search results. As well, there are indirect benefits. So whenever you share your own content on Facebook, that's great. People see it. It actually doesn't give you any search ranking results benefits. It's an indirect. It's an indirect benefit because it actually has people click to your website. They're on your website, and the longer and the more often people visit your website and your pages, that is an actual algorithmic benefit for you. It's not the actual content being on Facebook. And if you want to double check this, just go to your Facebook page, and if you know how to view the source of your page, you'll see right there that Facebook, any link that's shared on Facebook has a no follow link, which tells the search engines, don't follow this link. Don't give this link any credit towards your search rankings, towards your search history, or not search history, but towards the rankings. So the benefit there, the biggest benefit is the consistency of your profile across all the directories. And then you have an indirect benefit by people actually following the links that you share and actually spending time on those website pages. Does that make sense? Because Facebook says no follow, and I double checked this yesterday just to make sure I wasn't giving you incorrect information. But trust me, there are lots of people that are going to tell you that all you have to do to rank in search engines is social media, and they are wrong. All right, so we already talked about all that section. Got some good notes there, hopefully, for you on the page, as well as hopefully you're taking good notes. Let's talk about staying on brand on Facebook. This is big, and I mention this because I see a lot of new clients and potential clients that use their Facebook page in multiple ways that aren't helping their business. One, I told you, a lot of people don't actually have their business name on their Facebook page. I see a lot of people who have their business Facebook profile set up as a personal profile, and so it's an actual, like somebody that you could add as a friend. That's not the way to do it. You need to create a business page, a Facebook page. Do not, if you're still using a separate personal profile for your business, get a business page. You have to have a personal profile to create that business page. If you are using your own personal account as your business page, just create a business page and go from there. You're not getting much benefit if you're using your own personal page, because when you share something, the only possibility of people seeing it are who you have selected in your post sharing. So most people say only my friends can see this post, so only your friends can see that post. And if they share it, it's only your common friends that can see it. So keep that in mind. If you're still using that personal profile as your business page, please change that today. As well, the business logo and the profile, the cover image need to be relevant to your business. Your logo, if you have a bar, maybe some nice cocktails lined out, with a business card or with your logo in the background, something like that. I've seen many times that people that are nowhere in the pet industry, their cover photo is of their dog. So they're a landscaping company and they just have a photo of their dog. Or they're a landscaping company and they have a photo of themselves without their logo. No, it needs to be relevant to your business. People who visit that need to realize that they are talking to a real business or looking at a real business page. Make sure anything that you're sharing matches your customer persona. Make sure it's relevant to your customers. I see a lot of times also people will share their own personal lives, like, oh no, my kid just turned 3. Well, that's great, but unless you're in childcare or throwing birthday parties for kids, that doesn't have a lot to do with your landscaping company, for example. I'm sorry, I laugh because I see that so often with my new clients that come on. This last one is huge when we're staying on brand. Don't argue with your customers online, ever. It looks bad and every single person can see that. Make sure that you address every negative comment, but be empathetic and offer to talk to them outside of social media. Don't say anything that you wouldn't say to a potential client's face, because everybody's going to see it. I'm not going to mention their name, but there is a very well-known local restaurant that I swear to God gets a ton of bad reviews on their Facebook page because they don't care what people say about them in the restaurant or on social media, and all they do is argue on their Facebook page, and it's sad. It's sad and it's pathetic. And Lauren and I know a lot of people that won't go back to this place because of our experiences there and reading their reviews. So
they roast the people that give them bad reviews instead of saying, you know what, come back in, let's do this again, let me make it right. Food's on me. They just say, you know what, you were a really bad customer to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, that is what they say.
Instead of working through that with the customer that gives them a bad review, they just tell the customers that they're terrible customers and they don't care if they come back. It's pretty ridiculous. Well, they're a national company actually, so they're probably not going to go out of business. The franchisee may not do so well eventually.
Yeah.
That's okay, I'll wait.
Okay. So that's really all I have about staying on brand, is just make sure that your content is relevant to your customer, that you are representing your business, and don't fight with customers or potential customers online. So let's talk about posting to your Facebook page. Here's a basic rule that I like to use with my clients and customers is the 70-20-10. 70% of your own original content, 20% sharing other people's content, because if you're sitting there sharing your own stuff the entire time, then you're selling. You're selling to your audience 100% of the time. Now you could share your own content and not be selling, but you need to show your followers and your customers that, hey, you know what, we understand what we're talking about, so here's some other stuff that's not us that also covers everything that we talk about. And then 10% of your content promotional, promoting your own products. I see a lot of Facebook pages out there that every time you visit it, it's for a sale. It's come get this on sale. We have this promotion ends today. It can't be all promotional. If you're not going to get that engagement. People will still like your page, but they're going to turn off those notifications if all you're doing is selling to them. And you're going to see, I don't understand, I have 1,000 likes, but no, I get 0 reach on this post. It's because those people are turning off those notifications because you're selling to them 100% of the time. So, how often should you post to Facebook? This is going to depend on your individual business. And I'm going to say start with once or twice a day at most and see how that works. If you're, of course, if you're running a news blog or something like that, you want to post relevant news all the time. For example, if I was running, you know, like a Kansas City Chiefs blog, yeah, some days there may be 5 pieces of relevant information that comes out. So you want to do it that way. But if you're just a regular local business, don't inundate your followers with 10 posts a day. They're not going to appreciate it, trust me. But at the same time, though, test it for yourself. I recommend starting with 1 or 2 posts per day. And if you see that your engagement keeps going up, then try a 3rd one. Or try 3 to start with. And if you see that, hey, this isn't getting the kind of engagement I want, go down to 2. So it's going to be different for everybody, but trust me, 10 is not going to work for you if you're a small business. 10 a day is not going to work. We already touched on this a little bit, but post content that is relevant to your client base, not just your promotional stuff and not just your products and services. You know, if you're a landscaping company, for example, guess what? Those people who have landscaping probably like to be outside in their yard. They're probably interested in, you know, throwing parties in their backyards or grilling out, cooking out. Find a way to weave those things together so it seems seamless. And of course, this is beginner stuff, so we're not going to talk about all of that content creation at this point.
Promoting another company then through your...
You can, yes, you can promote another company. That is great too. I mean, if you find somebody who has a business that's adjacent to yours, for example, if you know a local company that, if you're a landscaping company, you got another company that does decks and fire pits and outdoor living areas, yes, if they have relevant information, you've made a relationship with them, it's great to start finding those people and cross-promoting information that is relevant to your customer. Now, if you're a landscaping company, you probably don't want to go, again, start promoting a children's birthday party company unless they are, you know, doing something with outdoor summer birthdays, you know, something like that. So there are those opportunities to find people to partner with locally as well. So here's some basic ideas, because everybody says, I don't know what to post. What should I post? Some basic ideas, tips and tricks. Again, I'm going to go back to landscaping because it's so easy. Because there are so many things that people want to do by themselves. But then there are also things that they can't do by themselves, so they hire the landscaping company. So, you know, simple things that you know that you don't offer the service for. So if you offer a mid-range or high service, offering tips and tricks around the small things is perfect. You know, even things as far as a landscaping company, what type of flowers do best in this region, on this side of the house, all that kind of stuff is great. So tips, tricks, holidays, and the, you know, national days that every day has like 10 of them, right? I don't know, what is something today? I looked it up, but I forgot. So those novelty holidays, National, oh, it is 3/14. So today's National Pie Day. So, for example, if you can't find these, so yeah, for example, here we're at Winstead's today. They should have been doing something that says, you know, come and get your piece of apple pie on National Pie Day. Well, they should get pie.
We should have pie today. We haven't trained them in for St. Patrick's Day.
So if you don't know what the novelty holidays are, a simple Google search will help you out. If nothing else, if you go to Twitter every single morning, you're going to see whatever national novelty holiday is trending, as well as real holidays are good things. If you can work that into your post, it's super simple. It's low entry because everybody can say, you know, Merry Christmas or Happy 4th of July with a picture, you know, of a great landscaping project they've done, right? Like, how great is it? How great would it be to be outside on one of our lawns today? You know, those kinds of things. So the next section where I've got video is greater than photo, greater than link, greater than plain text. When you're sharing on Facebook, as well as many of the other social networks, really love video right now. So if you can do video, that's fantastic. I've bolded photo because that's the easiest barrier to entry for you. So if you have to choose of what type of post to do, as an entry level, I'm going to say go photo. Go photo all the time. And then rather than putting your link, you know, whenever you post a link into Facebook, it automatically populates the little link information there and with the photo. Just hit that X button and get rid of the link and upload the photo. Upload the photo and put the link actually in your description. That is going to get much, much, much more reach than a link. Because the Facebook algorithms, they determine what content to show to more people. So everything you show does not get shown to every single person who likes your page. The algorithms will show it to the people who are most likely to interact with it, who are most interested in it, and people are way more interested in photos than they are the actual links. Even though the links have a photo. It's crazy, I understand, but it is truth. And we'll talk more about a little test that I'm running later. The last little tip I have about here posting your Facebook page is use the Insights tab. When you're on desktop, it's going to be a lot easier. Or if you're on mobile device, download the Facebook Page Manager app. I think it's called Page Manager. And then you can see how effective each one of your posts are. It shows you how many engagements it's getting, so how many people are liking it, commenting, clicking through the links, etc. As well as you'll see how many people it's reached. So that's essentially how many people Facebook has shown it to, and then how many people have seen it because other people have shared it or liked it and all that kind of stuff. You can use that very simply to figure out what post types are doing well for you and what content is doing well for you. Again, this is all trial and error, whatever. But you're going to quickly find out what type of content that you're sharing that your audience engages with the most, and share more of that type of content and get rid of the type of content that people are not engaging with. So a basic schedule, this is a schedule that I use for your own content. When you post a new blog post on Facebook, I will share it as soon as I publish it to my website. As well, I will share the content 1 week later, but I'll change up that little headline where I talk about, you know, what is in this blog post. When I say headline, again, like I said, photos do much better than the actual link. So I always
Say post a photo and not just the link.
Absolutely, even on your own blog post, post the photo, because you should be using photos in all of your blog posts. Just share that photo with the title and then a link to it. And then I also include a little 1 or 2 sentence, you know, synopsis or what I think about this as well. So when you share it 1 week later, I will share a little different comment from myself. I'll use still the same title and the same link, but I'll share a different comment from myself. Just kind of switch it up a little bit, maybe even a different image to keep it fresh, to make it seem new. Yeah, you can do the same thing for months. And if your content is evergreen, which means that it doesn't expire, it's always relevant, come back to it in a month and then 3 months. But generally speaking, I do it the day of and then a week later, and then I revisit things every few months to reshare them as well. Some tools to help you manage your Facebook page. Buffer, does anybody use Buffer? A couple people. Buffer will help you automatically schedule your posts, and it will do both photos and links, so it's great. Social Pilot is the same thing. Both of those have a free option. Buffer is a little more powerful because it integrates with so many different systems. Social Pilot is kind of new to the scene. It's a little cheaper, but and it's analytics. Actually, they give you more analytics on their base level paid plan, but they don't integrate with as many things. Canva Who's used Canva? A lot of people have used Canva. Great to help you create images with text on top of them. Q is a great system that if your industry fits into one of the pre-selected categories, Q actually is a website that will, and a service that will curate your content based on your industry. It's hand curated, it's just not auto. So they actually go through and they kind of write up a little, like I said, a little headline for you, and you can schedule it to send out posts on your behalf once, twice a day. And they've got a free tier that lets you connect up to 3 accounts. So if you're lazy or just getting started out, or you run into a time where you don't have time, you can go use this system, turn it on, and it's at least going to do something for you so it looks like you're at least somewhat active, right? So I recommend checking that out.
Travis, what is curate?
Curate means that they will find the content for you that is relevant or semi-relevant to your industry. So it's not, they're just not sending out everything. So you can enter, I think on their free plan, up to 5 tags or 5 categories, keywords, and then they will say, okay, we'll select it for you. And you can always go in and on the free plan you actually you don't have a lot of options to say yes or no. But on a paid plan, you can say, yeah, I don't want this one. But you can always go delete it if you're watching your own Facebook and it's something that doesn't quite fit. You can go delete it from your Facebook page. It's just really, it's a good way to put something on autopilot whenever you run out of time. That's kind of the way I look at it. So I manage a lot of websites, and there are a few of them that I don't do anything for social media because for whatever reason it may be. So I will turn that system on and use that service. Actually, you have to integrate that with Buffer, which also has a free plan as well. So it's a very nice little service. So the next one is Promo Republic. This system is actually really cool. It's not a free system, but they have a pre-built calendar in there of all the holidays. You can set up your industry of whatever your industry may be, and it's going to give you suggestions of things to post and the ability to edit them, and then it will pre-schedule them for you. So for example, a graphic for, I'm going to use dogs for example. If you're a veterinarian, it'll be a pre-filled graphic that says 10 foods that are toxic or poisonous to dogs, and it's got a little graphic that it creates, and you can go in and you can edit it, change out your photo, and you can schedule it to post at a future date. On all your, not all, but you know, what do we call them, the holidays, the novelty holidays, it lists all those things out in a calendar. So you already have a calendar there. You can actually add your own types of things to the calendar. So if you're talking about your anniversary date or something else that's great is who is big people in your industry, the history of your industry type things. You can add all those in, so every year you get a reminder, or you can go through and set it up for the months to come. So you can get those reminders and start creating content right there in one spot. So they don't have a free tier. They give you a 14-day free trial, but it's pretty cool. Also a great tool, Facebook actually allows you to schedule posts from within Facebook that a lot of people don't realize. If you don't use any other sort of scheduling tool, you can use that tool right there within Facebook. Lastly, I put here Moz Local. Again, this is not a free service, but remember we talked about how important your name, address, phone number consistency is across directories. This is a service that I believe is, off the top of my head, $90 a year. And what that does is, once you fill out your Facebook and or Google My Business profile, it will take those and help distribute it and make sure it's consistent across all the platforms for you. So anytime you change one of those, if you have, for example, if you, after today, you say, oh my goodness, I've been doing this wrong, I need to go fix something, you can go fix it on Facebook, set up Moz Local, and it will push it out to all the other ones and make sure it stays consistent. So if the other directory doesn't take it, it'll keep pinging it or pushing it out to them until they take it. You may have to verify some things, but it's very good to help make sure that your profiles stay consistent everywhere. So lastly, if you want more Facebook or Instagram tips, you can follow my business page, Webworks of KC. I actually am breaking my little 70-20-10 rule right now because I am running some tests. So I have actually scheduled over the next few weeks, I have scheduled all posts about Facebook and Instagram. The test that I am running actually has a lot of components to it, but I've been running it for a few weeks and I'll be running it for a few more. I've been testing images versus links. I've been testing using a third-party scheduler versus scheduling it on the website. And then I will also, which I'm not looking forward to, in a few weeks, I will be making sure that I'm going on there twice a day and posting live. So I won't be scheduling anything, so organic posting. Because I want to see how does my reach change with each one of those, so I can best set my clients up to say, you know what, if you use this, it's great, but if you do it through Facebook, it gives you even better. And if you do it live or organically, then it gives you an even better reach. So those are things I'm testing, and it's all going to be Facebook and Instagram, because that's also what I'm testing as well from the previous months. If I just use Facebook and Instagram, which are both Facebook properties, are they going to push that out to more people because it's mentions their own brands, you know? So I'm testing that as well for my own internal benefit. So if you have any questions, now's the time for questions. All right, Lauren.
How do I find out when to post?
How do you find out when to post to Facebook? The optimal times. If you use a tool like Buffer, it's, like I said, they have a free tier there as well. Buffer is going to be, it gives you the option to tell it how many times you want to post per day, and it's going to give you the quote-unquote optimal times. That said, that may not always be 100% accurate, and it may be ever-changing. So if you're not big on using Facebook right now to post content, I would say use whatever it says and then check back in a few weeks, because the more you post, the more variation you're going to have in those times. So it's going to give you the times that it believes that you're going to get the most interaction.
Insights will tell you too.
Insights will tell you, yeah.
Yeah, Facebook.
It'll tell you what posts are getting more reaction on your page.
Yeah. The insights, Facebook Insights is going to give you a little bit of insight to that as well. But again, the more you post or the more that you test, the more that can change. So always revisit that and don't rely on it 100%. Question over here?
What do you think about
Hootsuite. I don't personally use Hootsuite, but it's a great scheduling tool as well, and you can have teams. So I don't personally use it, and I think that's just because I started using it whenever it was brand new and it wasn't as feature rich as some of the other ones, so I just never went back to it. So we've got somebody here who uses Hootsuite.
So I started off with Buffer, but at work I manage 4 different accounts on Hootsuite. What I like about Hootsuite is I can bulk upload using a CSV file. I can bulk upload all of my posts for the whole month, and then I don't have to touch it again. So I do that with you can do that with Twitter and Facebook. You can bulk upload everything. But I mean, I still then go and share. I go and share stuff. So I'll just bulk upload like all of my call to actions, like go to our website, look at our blog, things like that. I'll do like one of those a day.
So one of the big benefits of Hootsuite is the bulk uploading for Facebook and Twitter. Buffer does also have that option on their paid plans. So I use a paid plan at Buffer.
What do you think of the paid plans on Facebook as far as the paid to boost your posts?
So for Facebook advertising was the question. So boosting posts.
Yeah, so it gets it out to more.
Sure. So here we're getting a little more beyond the beginner. But as far as boosting posts, my biggest tip for beginners is to make sure you target that ad. So you can target that ad to people who are close to you. And again, I'm oversimplifying all of this here. You can target.
You can do a radius from where you're at.
Yep, you can do a radius from where you're at. You can also target age ranges. You can target demographics. So if you only want people that Facebook believes that make $150,000 a year, for example, you can target that. As well, if you have your own email list, you can upload it and you can target only people who are on your email list. You can target people who are not on your email list. You can target people who like your Facebook page already. You can target people who do not like your Facebook page already. These are just oversimplifying. But if you're boosting a post, my big advice is for the beginner is to make sure you do some sort of targeting. If you're a local business, make sure you don't target the entire Kansas City metro area if you're in the Northland and somebody's not going to drive, for example, to buy baby clothes. If they're in Overland Park, they're not going to drive to the Northland. So just that's my big tip for beginners there with boosting posts. I have a question over in the back.
Is there any way to get likes anymore without paying for them?
Well, you should never pay for likes, especially if you go on like Fiverr or something like that. Don't pay for bulk likes. But you're saying as far as boosting posts and all that kind of stuff, is there a way to get likes? The answer is yes and kind of. So the biggest way to really get likes is to start improving the content on your own website and using your website to drive people to the Facebook page for likes without paying for that. Also, building that email list is going to be huge because then every single time that you send out a newsletter or a new content update, you're reaching those people who may not like you on Facebook. And to go one step further, again, that's a little bit above the beginner, you can also install the Facebook tracking pixel on your website. So you can start targeting people who have visited your website already, who already know who you are.
I would say so a like is a vanity metric. So on surface level, it looks really good, but really you kind of want to start looking at engagement and people reacting to your posts, and are they sharing it? Are they commenting on it? Because that's really going to show you.
If you've got 100 likes, so maybe 6 people will see your post if that thing happens.
You mean like 100 followers?
It's a like. A like is a follower, yeah.
Okay.
Same thing.
So if you've got 1,000, that 6 number maybe 50. Well, if 50 people see it, you've got a better chance of getting engagement, and the more engagement you have, the more people that see your post. Because if I get a share, 2 comments, and 3 likes, the more people see my post than like me. Versus sometimes
yes. So
it'll say, hey, 6 people saw this.
yeah, that's
Probably me.
that's great. That's a great comment. So likes is kind of a vanity metric, but it does actually go into the number of people who can see your post organically. That said, also as the business, when somebody likes your post or interacts with your post, you can actually go to that list and you can invite those people to like your page. So that is something that you can do to get those likes for free. So if people are sharing out your post, sharing it and commenting on it, which then in turn other people see and they like it, like your individual post, you can invite them to like your page. So that's the way that you can build it through Facebook alone without
So you just
paying.
send them a message?
No, actually, you can't, which is kind of weird. You can just say, you could click on when it's got the list of people who have liked the post, you click on it, it'll open it up and it'll show you who already likes your page, and then next to anybody that doesn't, there's a little button that says invite. So that's a good way to get the likes for free. Did you still have one over here? No.
Mine was a comment that I didn't want to interrupt your video. But
Oh, that's okay.
about what she commented and you commented about don't down your customer. This book you'll probably never see, and all of you are youngsters compared to me. But back years ago, when I first started selling things, I was privileged to read a book, run across a book called How to Sell Anything to Anybody by Joe Girard, and he was the world's greatest salesman 12 years in a row in Guinness's Book of World Records. So he's kind of worth listening to. But there's one chapter in that book that so many businesses forget about, and it's called The Law of 250. And early in his career, he got to thinking, how does a funeral home know how many chairs to set up for the average funeral? How does the wedding person know how many chairs to set up or plan for the average wedding? And you got to remember that was back in the early 80s when people did go to funerals more and stuff. But anyway, he went around and asked them, and they all said, oh, about 250. So what he figured out, the average person knows 250 people, and if you don't treat that customer right, ultimately it will touch 250 people. Because I'll tell 10 people, we had a bad experience with a heating and cooling company. And I'm telling you right now, don't do business with Total Home Comfort, okay? Out of Minnesota, not Total Comfort here in Kansas City. Yeah. So then it spreads. Then you tell somebody. So ultimately, a bad report will touch 250 people. So take care of that customer and make them happy, like you said. Do whatever it takes. Give them another free meal.
Even if they were the worst customer
Yeah,
in
if
the
they're
world.
the worst people in the world. Do what it takes to make them happy, and it'll pay off in the long run.
That's interesting that you say that. On Facebook, they say the average person who engages on Facebook has 155-ish friends, and that's actually down from 2 years ago. People are starting to be more selective with their online friends, but again, yeah, if they tell one person, then that person is at least going to mention it to a few people whenever that conversation comes up in their circle. So yeah, can't talk negatively online about your potential customers or your actual customers. Anybody have anything else? Sorry, we went way long, but only one person left, so apparently that's okay. So don't forget to tip your waitress, even if you just had water. And thank you all for coming out today, braving the snow.
What do? When we get home for